Hey everybody, I'm Sean Holsinger from HolsingerSlyShop.com. Bringing another tying video today. This is a nymph pattern and it's a remake of an old one. I've been doing a lot of remakes lately and changing some things around, making them a little bit cooler or whatever. Things that I've learned over the years, I'm incorporating them into my tying. You know, when I've been doing this for 8 years, I've learned a ton in the 8 years by all the different patterns that I've tied. I'm up somewhere around 400 videos now, so, you know, I didn't know half of what I know back then that I know now, and I've learned, and I hope you see that in my videos. But this is one. There's a old fly out there called the 20-incher. It's kind of like a prince nymph. It's a stonefly pattern, and I tied it before, but I tied it the old-fashioned way. I used a hen pheasant shoulder feather to do the legs on it, which is old school style. It looks really cool. And I actually had one of my customers, Mike, that always orders flies from me, and he asked for it, and he asked for the 20-incher, and I wasn't paying attention, and I tied it with Lively Legz because I'm so used to tying with Lively Legz for him and for some other guys, and I threw Lively Legz on it. And then I went back and looked at the picture and saw that I tied the old one with pheasant tail, or with pheasant fibers. And I thought, well, I like this. I'm going to see if he does. And he did like it. So we went with it. And I looked around and nobody else put one out there with Lively Legz. So here you go. I'm going to do a 20-incher with Lively Legz. I hope you guys like this. Here it is in the vise, and then the material is to tie it. Alright, here you see this cool looking fly in the vise, and let's get into tying it. For the hook, I'm using a 7/18 Firehole. This one's a size 12. And the bead is a black nickel tungsten bead from Nature Spirit and a 3.3 millimeter. And then I'm using some like 0.015 or 020 lead wire, and I'm going to make about 15 wraps around here. I didn't count because I was talking, but somewhere around 15. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thumb, just push them right up in the back of the bead there to hold it in place. Next thing, some 140 Denier brown thread. You could use black here, would work well too. I'm not getting real picky. You could even do like a hotspot color, a pink or an orange. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this thread and I'm going to bring it back to the bend of the hook, and I'm going to make a little ball of thread right here, and that's going to splay my biots out. If you watch my videos, you know that this is a great way to do split biot wing or tails. And I'm using some strip goose biots. The color here is golden stone, and I'm just going to hold it up against one. I'm doing one at a time. And I'm going to get the length I want it, and then I'm going to hold it up against the shank of the hook and tie them on one at a time, wrap it back to that ball. Then I'll come back up a little bit, put my other side on, and I want to get these equal lengths. If you don't get them equal length, at least have it close. Nothing in nature seems to be equal, so it doesn't really matter if they're not perfect. It's just for the tier's eye that you're looking to get them perfect. And you can see there that that ball will split them out and make you a nice little separated tail. Next thing I'm going to add is some Brassie gold wire. If you have some French oval tinsel laying around, like a medium size would work too. I'm using some Brassie sized gold wire. Copper would work too. Then I'm going to put on a couple strands of Peacock Herl. And this one is actually, this one, oh, sorry, I'm trying to think and tie at the same time. And this is the fluorescent green one. So I'm just going to tie them on the side, and I'm going to tie it back to the tail. And then come back forward, and I want to come back forward about 2/3 of the way there. You can see I'm about 2/3 of the way. So we're going to wrap this forward. Careful you don't touch the hook. You can break your herl. And we're just going to nice tight side by side wraps with that cluster of herl. And then once I get up there to where my thread's at, I'm going to tie it off. Oops, I'm wrapping a little bit back into it and I don't want to do that. Okay, so we're going to trim that off. Now I'm going to take my gold wire and I'm going to reverse wrap it to lock it into place. And by reverse wrapping it, it will help it stand out a little bit. It won't sink into your herl wraps. And then I'm just going to tie that down good. And one thing I'll do is I'll bend it back and forth a couple times before I helicopter it, and it pops it right off quicker. Next thing we're going to use is a piece of turkey tail. And I'm going to cut about 8 strands of the turkey tail off. And then I'm going to cut the tips off so I get a nice square end here. And I'm going to use the side that was the bottom. I'm going to tie it with the bottom side up. So that leaves me the top side is going to show on my wing case when I'm done here. So we're just going to wrap that back to that 2/3 mark. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pair of Lively Legz. These are rust colored and this is the large size. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the front 2 off. I'm going to throw the back pair away, the back set of legs away, and just use the front 2. Remember, we're fishing for a fish here with a brain the size of a pea. They can't count, so we don't need three sets of legs on here. We can get away with just the 2 to make it proportionate, and that's what's more important, getting your proportions down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them down on the side, a little bit on the side, and wrap it, and it'll twist it right up on top. And I'm just going to crisscross over those legs to get them in place, and there you can see I got that all nice and covered. Now I'm going to put some dubbing on. For dubbing we're going with SLF Squirrel, and this is the Natural Fox. And I don't need a whole lot here. I'm going to go pretty thin. I'm going to change the color of my thread as I usually say. And we're just going to cover this area up. And again, I'm going to crisscross back and forth so I make sure that I get both sides of that covered. Now I need just a hair more on here. And if you slack on one side, make it be the top, because it's not going to show through on the top. So whenever I turn this upside down, I want you to see that I have it all covered in here underneath the legs. So we're going to take our turkey tail now, and I'm going to pull it up over the back. I'm going to go right down over the center and lay that on top of my bead there. By laying it on top of the bead, then I can come in with my thread, keep it where I want it there, and just make a loose lap and wrap and then pull it down. Do that like 2 or 3 times. And like I said, if you come in here, you could do this with like an orange thread, and you'd be setting yourself up for a nice hot spot right there. After I get those 2 or 3 wraps on, then I'm going to come in with my whip finish, and all I usually do is like 1 whip finish, like 4 turns or so. Cut off my thread, and then I only do 1 because I come in and I hit it with some UV glue. So there you can see the wing case on top of the legs, looking good. I'm just going to put a little bit of UV glue on top. Try not to build it up too much, but I do like to get it over the bead and just into the peacock herl, as you see there. So it connects to everything. And then hit it with my light, and we're done. There you can see, nice finished fly. Okay guys, it's not a whole lot different, but I incorporated Lively Legz instead of the feather legs. Some of you may struggle with the feather legs. I don't really have too much of a problem with them, but it took me a little while to get onto them. And good chance you may already be tying with Lively Legz, so this is an easy transition for you. So I would definitely suggest, especially if you're a Lively Legz guy, and I know a ton of you are, put a couple of these 20 inchers in your box. They look great, great stonefly imitation. You have the option of changing the colors. The Peacock Herl comes in different colors. Or, hey, even just use some dubbing or something. It doesn't have to be the Peacock. Play around and use whatever you have. Pheasant tail back there. Pheasant tail fibers would look great on it. It's just that stonefly profile that this hook gives you and the Lively Legz and everything. So have fun and tie and experiment. That's what it's all about. I love experimenting when it comes to fly tying. And this was a mistaken experiment, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So if you need any of the materials, you need Lively Legz or anything like that, we have tons of Lively Legz at the shop. You guys love to buy them. And just click down below in the description list down there. And we'll take you directly to the materials on our website at holsingersflyshop.com. So please, if you haven't already, please take the time to subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment. Tell me how you liked the video. And until next week when I bring you another video, I'm Sean Holsinger.